Hello everybody and welcome back to MACH 2022. Now we are going ahead with our live stream in just about 30 minutes time, very exciting. However, we're going to give you a little teaser and a taster because guess where we are? We're of course on the Heimer stand. What a brand in industry. You know what, we particularly chose this location because the stand has been absolutely heaving with customers. So as you get, we're kind of weave in and out of people because everyone's, I haven't even spoken to Phil yet and we're going live in half an hour because he's got so many customers. What are we going to see, Joe?
It's great, it's fantastic. So we're stood here at the shrink fit area, so why not start here? But we're going to be talking about shrink fit. This is what I would call traditional Heimer technology. And if we move along here, we've got the new power clamp air. I don't want to talk about this right now because I'm going to be interviewing Phil in a moment, but I know it's something they're very, very excited about, Lindsay.
Yeah, we're going to give you some golden nuggets so you can see what's coming up, but you're not having it all because we want to speak to the experts about it. Not saying that you're not an expert, Joe.
No, you're right.
Well, okay, there, he's fully admitting that. He's not an expert. Look, all of the streams and everything are interactive. Please message in. We've got technology so the team can tell us exactly what your messages are. Get involved. Like, if you've got any questions about any of these products, I've said it on every stream, we want to get you as close to the technology as we are. So if you've got those questions, look, in an ideal world, of course, said it before, everyone would be here, but not everyone can get to MACH, can they? So exactly, so that's why we're doing these live streams. Of course, it is Wednesday. What do we call Wednesday?
Day before Thursday?
Well, yeah, but what's my little name for it?
You have to help me out, Lindsay.
Hump Day. It's Hump Day because we're on the hump of the week as well. So there is still time for you to come and visit as well. Happy Hump Day, everyone. Right, come on. Some people might, laugh at that in a different way. The cameraman certainly is. I can see Matt in the background going.
So again, this is what we're going to be talking about, but shrink fit collets. Something when you talk about shrink fit, you might not associate with a shrink fit technology. Typically these are like an ER style of collet, but these are really exciting. We'll be talking about that.
They are specialists in their field, aren't they? That's ultimately, another customer, right? Yeah. We'll just go round you, we'll scooch round. Right, tell me about the microset.
Pre-setting. Well, turn about. What do you know about pre-setting? Do you know why we use it?
Don't quiz me. Yes, of course, because you can. Basically, you need to know if everything's aligned and leveled up when it goes into the machine.
Exactly that.
Yes.
So basically, we're going to be finding out why engineers use it, and if you're not, why you should be pre-setting your tools. It's a fundamental part of becoming efficient in the modern day working environment. So Lindsay, you'll cock on, but we'll dive a little deeper as well in 20 minutes or so.
I'll never forget when Phil challenged me. He made me get involved and sort everything out when I was in my early days, and I was like, well, I'm doing it, I'm tired to do it myself, so if I can do it, you can do it too.
So if I had said that, I'd be in trouble, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But he was showing me everything, and it was just so easy, and it's ease, and then your calculations are so tight, that they know what they're doing. Should we say?
It's incredible. So this is the VO 3570, fantastic, all fully automated with QR codes. You can use ballast chips and other things like that as well.
And the technology there, you can see on the screen. I don't know, Matt, if you can see that, but there's a lot that they're really going into depth with measurements over there. Why do they need such detail, Joe?
Well, you do, don't you? You need, and obviously, what I like about Heimer, it's you shrink your tool, you then balance the tool, which we'll get to in a moment, and then you preset the tool. So, if the tool's in the best condition and it's running true, if the tool's balanced, you're giving yourself a good head start, aren't you? If any of those factors are not done, you could be in a bit of trouble.
So, why do you think Heimer is so successful?
Say again, sorry?
Why do you think Heimer is so successful as a brand? Because we see these in so many machine shops.
I think there's many reasons. Clearly, it's a fantastic product, wonderful product, but I do like the idea of having a tool holder, shrinking it, put it in, then balancing the tool, and then presetting the tool. All that information goes to the machine. So all of that from one supplier.
But why is that imperative to be able to get that right? What are the downsides? If you don't do this, what happens, Joe? Well,
and the majority don't. The majority of companies don't do everything we've just said.
Okay.
It takes away all the variables, Lindsay, doesn't it? So basically, you're machining blind to a certain extent. So if you don't do what we've just mentioned, you want improved surface finish. You want increased efficiency, more productivity. Increased tool life. There's many advantages.
If you're investing in a machine tool that could be like hundreds of thousands of pounds, it's a small investment in comparison, but it's a return on investment, isn't it, every time?
Yeah, I also think it's a good argument. If you've got a number of machines and you think, I need another machine, maybe you're better off holding off that machine potentially and investing in technology like this to get more from your current machine tools.
Okay, that's quite interesting as well. Yeah. Right, okay, let's go down as well. Here he is. They're prepping for the show, Rowan.
We're live, Rowan, I will warn you.
Yeah, we're nice. Okay, hello. So we're just talking about. I'm going to be talking to the two Ians actually. So we've got Ian Morton here. I almost forget the second name then. And Ian Keasley is over there. We're going to be talking about tool balancing and also 3D setters, which is quite. Can't tell you any more about it because we'll be doing it at 11:46 and 11:54. Hopefully the timings are right. You never know that it's going to be right.
Live
though.
TV.
Yeah, it's live TV. So we might not be bang on time, but hopefully that's what we'll be doing a little bit later.
Let's hope so, Rowan. We'll be on time.
Well, that's all on Joe actually, because he's got 20 minutes of content before me.
Right, okay, so don't forget, make sure you're tuning in. I don't know the exact time now, so what time are we on? You guys know.
So in
about 20 minutes time, we'll be going live. We'll be talking about all of this technology, but in a lot more depth, the reasons why to invest, that kind of return on investment, and what Heimer offer to industry. It's interactive. Get those messages in, and we'll see you in 20 minutes time. Hello everybody and welcome back, MACH 2022, and we are on the Heimer stand. I've got the general manager here, Phil Crawley. So good to see you. Your stand is very busy. We've been fighting off the customers.
It's been fantastic. We're really pleased after 4 years being away, and we're back, and it's been great. The visitor numbers better than the last time we did.
Really? It's so good. Honestly, when we've done the pre-roll, we were like moving people out the way. And if you did, I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but there's so many people just circling the stand. But of course, Heimer, the brand, you're everywhere.
Well, yes, we are. Yeah, luckily we are. Yeah, and we do a good job in servicing the market. And we're growing. We're getting bigger.
Now, what's new? Because you just said 4 years ago that we were last here. Yeah. What's changed in the 4 years?
I think really our focus on Industry 4.0, that's where the connectivity of our machines, this is important for customers nowadays, and we're embracing that technology.
Phil, we hear that a lot about the machines, but also you've got machines here too. So what? I'm talking about like the big machine tools, but for you, why is connectivity so important?
Well, I think it's the control of the assembly of the tool, the build-up is the most important thing, because we see some real horror stories of crashes where people are incorrectly measuring tools, not measuring them at all, and the potential is so costly for a customer.
Potential. Tell me some. Well, we'll find out more about the Heimer family and the stand as well. But have you got any proof that people have had kind of disasters, and you've kind of come in and said, you know what, we've got the answer, we've got the solution?
Yeah, we had a customer on yesterday that didn't used to balance their tools, for instance, and he used to change his spindles every 3 to 4 months. And now, with his balancing, he hasn't changed a spindle in years, like literally years. So.
I mean, that's so costly. Like, I know when we think about it in the grand scheme of things, but, you think, and I bet you then they'll kind of want to blame the machine as well. And really, it's just their preparation.
Yeah, if you prepare the tools in the best way they can be, then you will get the best results.
You've got some show offers on as well, haven't you?
We have indeed, yeah. If people want to come down and see us, and they can see what we have on offer. Right,
okay. Well, it is only Wednesday. There's more time. You can come to MACH today. We've also got Thursday and Friday. We just want to find out a little bit more because there's some brand new machines on the stand, technology that you've not seen before. But let's find out really quickly about the Heimer family, because it's still a family-run business, but you've had huge, significant growth.
Yeah, I mean, the company is now 45 years old. In March of this year, it was still run by Claudia and Franz Heimer. And now the second generation is running the business as well. And we are a big company. We have 900 employees worldwide, but we are small enough to care.
And that's important, because sometimes people can have that growth really quickly. But for yourselves, the amount of machine shops that we go to and we see your products out there, they're just so popular.
Yeah, and we would like, obviously, to sell even more.
Yeah, that's the aim of the game. So come on to the Heimer stand here at MACH. Now, we are going to take you on a tour. Phil, can you just tell us what the audience are about to see, and just something exciting about the technology that you just don't tell everyone, not everything, but just a little bit.
So we're going to go over to Joe next, and we're going to go through the Power Clamp Air, our newest machine. and then we're going to take a tour around on the presetters and then finish with the balancing and of course tool holders in between.
Brilliant. You head over to Joe now for the latest technology, and you know what, there's so much on offer. They are literally pushing customers out the way, which is brilliant. So over to you, Joe.
What a busy stand you've got, must be over the moon.
Yeah, it's been really good. We really are really happy with the numbers and the investment we made. And I think the job done by the MTA as well to get this event finally off the ground.
Absolutely. I want to talk to you about the Power Clamp Air i4.0. It's the first time I've actually seen it in the UK. Well, I believe it's obviously a MACH premiere, but I believe it's a UK premiere, really.
Yeah. One of the reasons for this shrink technology in terms of collets was we went going into an arena where we'd never been before, mainly with turning and driven tools. So it's important that we have it, and we have a machine designed really with that in mind, but can also do the standards.
It's fair to say, when we talk shrink tooling, the perception is just milling. Would that be a fair point?
Well, in this case, we're live tooling, milling and drilling, even tapping, so we're able to do all of those with the shrink collets.
Yeah. So I mean, traditionally we're talking about milling on vertical machining centres, whereas now there's absolutely no reason we shouldn't be shrink fitting into driven tools on lathes.
Well, there's so many multitasking machines around today, so we can use the technology on any piece of equipment.
Okay, can we take a look at it? What are fundamentally the differences between this and your core, traditional technology?
So we use here QR code scanning, because if we can just take a look at the selection of collets that we have, we need a QR code to get the accuracy and getting the right parameters on the machine. So we scan the collet, we're able to shrink it, and then we cool it with compressed air.
And the machine tool itself, it looks very familiar, but it is slightly different.
Yeah, in terms of now we have the 7-inch touchscreen and also the QR scanner, and here the cooling device. Do you want us to do a demo on it, Joe? Or?
I'd love that.
Yeah, okay, if I can just come round to this side. So this machine has also a motorised coil, so it drives into the position automatically. So we're able to scan the QR code, the coil is in position. We fix it here. Bring the coil down. Just a few seconds, it's out. We put the new one in, and then we're able to take it to the cooling station. Here, bring this on. So it's a little bit noisier than the old type, but around about 60 seconds that will be fully prepared.
What are the advantages of using air?
In this case, it's because of the outside contour. So we're not influenced by the shape or the geometry. It can just be cooled, and it's just as quick.
What I like about it, you've got a choice of both, haven't you? Obviously, you've got the traditional technology, and then you've got this new air.
Yep, and this is also the additional safety feature of the lights. So at the moment it's flashing red, that will go green, and the air will close off.
Yeah, and who's going to be buying this type of machine? I guess you're going to say anyone with a turning centre with driven tools. But do you see it as an SME product for blue chips, or maybe for everyone?
I think for all customers, Joe. It's not an expensive unit, and it's the flexibility to do both.
And the advantages of using shrink tooling on a driven tool on the lathe against some of the other technologies out there, what would they be?
The fundamental reason is the speed of change. So many machines, it takes such a long time to change the tooling over. With this, we can preset to a defined length, then you only have to undo the collet chuck, put the new collet in, and away we go.
That's a very good point. Heimer don't just sell shrink machines, do they? So obviously you can get it on the machine in its measured, ready.
That's really, I mean, it's quite an exciting part of this machine, that you can offer that either with the height gauge system or with controlling the length with pins.
And I notice it's an Air i4. Most viewers now will know what Industry 4 is, but how does this help that process?
Well, we have the ability to make a connectivity to a central database, so that we know that the assembly has been done and we use the correct components in that.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing some more of these in your showroom and ultimately at your customers.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Right, I'm just going to interrupt this next gentleman. Mike, how are we doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Very good.
Good. We just spoke to the fellow about the new air system. First time I've come across that. But if you can just give us to start with, a brief rundown of why should people use shrink fit to start with?
Well, shrink fit, clamping force primarily is fantastic. Concentricity on shrink holders with arm holders is something like 3 microns. And just the strength of it. And with these sort of holders we have here, we have a large back end which acts as anti-vibration, and you can achieve fantastic feeds and speeds with these.
There was a time where people would use shrink fit for long jobs, maybe some difficult operations on a 5-axis machine. But I'm seeing a lot of people buy your heavy-duty tool holders now for heavy roughing.
And that's where it comes into its own. The heavy-duty, fantastic for stock removal, but as well you can have the small ends on there for getting into intricate jobs on 5-axis.
And if it is a deep hole, we can put holders within holders?
Yeah, as we've got here, we have a telescopic holder here where we've got the actual extension into the holder there, and we would just basically scan this which I'll do here for you. The coil has a split coil, and so we get heat over a large area, so the coil's split, heat over a large area, comes straight down to the tool, pressing the button, and within about 7 or 8 seconds you can take the tool out.
And I know, depending on the diameter, obviously we're going to have different temperatures and things, aren't we?
Yeah, so, but with a safety mechanism on here, we have a light on here, so once we've shrunk, when it's a red light, you can't touch it. Once it starts flashing, it's about 30 degrees, you can touch it. 20 degrees when it's green, and that's quite easy to touch and move.
And Heimer, you've got some quite clever technology. It stops you overheating tool holders, haven't you, and ultimately failing? Yeah,
it actually cuts out. It only allots you a certain time. With the scanning on here, it actually changes the coil. The settings are on here. If you put the wrong tool in, it won't work. It will say you've got the wrong tool in. So there's some safety mechanisms there which work well.
And if we look at the range from Heimer, clearly you'd need to book out pretty much the whole show, wouldn't you, to bring all your systems? You've got loads. So where does it start and where does it finish?
We have so many systems. We actually start with an entry-level machine, but we have horizontal. So if we're doing small-size tools, and we can set lengths on there. And we can then shrink up to 32 millimetre, so we can shrink from 3 millimetre to 32 millimetre in high-speed steel and in solid carbide.
And I'm seeing lots and lots of companies adopting Heimer shrink fit technology now. And there was a time where it tends to be the bigger companies I used to visit and see that, whereas now I'm seeing startups, SMEs.
Yeah, I think the problem, one slight problem, is the initial cost of getting your shrink machine. Once you've got your shrink machine, I spoke to a customer the other day, and they bought a shrink machine off us 15 years ago, and they changed over to Heimer then. Everything within their shop is Heimer, and they did say to us, we've never had an issue with any of the holders, we just continue to buy them.
Yeah, and that's great. I'm sure you want to sell them a more up-to-date system though, don't you?
While it's working well for them, that's good, but with the air machine, with the collets, if they wanted to change to that sort of system, then yeah, they would probably want to update. But the machines last a long time. Used correctly, these machines last for ages.
Sure. So just finally, really, in your opinion, why are the smaller companies starting to buy it? Is the penny dropped? Is there more? There's a lot more market adoption, is what I'm trying to say.
It's just the fact that it's an easy way of machining, and people 5-axis is probably the biggest thing where people want to be able to get into jobs, and it's because of that sort of machine being sold, more people go to this machine, and it is the only way to machine certain jobs.
And what we can't see here, we've got anti-pull-out as well. So for people doing complex components of high value, I know you've got some anti-pull-out systems that essentially stops you scrapping jobs, potentially.
We have the safe lock system, which actually has a pin inside the bore, and when the tool goes in, it actually pulls up to the pin, so it cannot pull out. But clamping force on standard holders is fantastic anyway, and with a safe lock system, it just gives you extra support.
Yeah, I think I heard someone say it's almost like a seat belt for your cutting tool.
It's just that extra bit of support, basically. I mean, some of our cutters over there, 32mm diameter, there's a lot of force on that tool, and it wants to pull out. So with a safe lock, it just enables you to machine heavy components without at all pulling out.
Yeah, titanium's in particular. It's quite, it's got, it's trying to pull that, almost trying to pull it out the tool holder, isn't it? So maybe in titanium, it's a good solution.
Yeah, it is, because the spiral of the cutter, for machining titanium, they're normally quick spiral. They're now multi-fluted, six fluters or 8 fluters. There's a lot of force on there, and you're using the whole flute length. So it is trying to pull out all the time. And like I say, the safe lock, no chance of it pulling out.
And this is the final one, I promise. But what's the most popular machine? Are we seeing people buy entry-level models and then grow with Heimer, or are we seeing a lot of people going in, this style of technology?
I think people go with the entry machine, but then they see the other machines we do with a full range of machines. It's our 3-pot version is still probably our biggest selling machine, but now with the i 4.0 machines, more and more people are moving towards that, and they want a secure system where they can use scanners, maybe lesser skill levels. It's just make sure that all the settings are correct, and it makes the life much easier.
Yeah, and we're halfway through the week, so for the people watching this, you should come to MACH. If you're not watching this, if you are watching this, great, but you should be coming to MACH. If you can't, how can they inquire about this? How can they find more information, hopefully get a sales call?
If you go onto our Heimer website, you can always put inquiries onto there, which goes straight through to all our sales engineers, and we get somebody out to you quite quickly with either a call or email.
Thank you very much, Mike, and I'm sure we'll put the details on the screen. But now we're going to go over to Rowan, who's going to be talking some very interesting technology. Over to you, Rowan.
Afterthought for some machine shops, but it is critical to protect your machine tool investment. Now, Ian, first of all, what is tool balancing?
Tool balancing is basically correcting any imbalance within a tool holder or a tool assembly, regardless of the weight, the diameter. The G2.5 is massively important when we're looking at rigid rotors, machine tool spindles, in order to maximise what you're actually doing. So we're hopefully going to do a bit of a demonstration here for you, where we've got fundamentally 2 standard Heimer chucks. One's a cool flash holder with no added weight to it, but what we've actually done with this power shrink here is we've added a data chip, which approximately adds 0.7 grams of weight to this assembly.
Which doesn't sound like very much.
It doesn't sound a lot, it sounds next to nothing. You'd hardly feel it in your hand. But once you apply that to a diameter of 63 millimetres, or any diameter, it could be an 80 mil or HSK 100 mil diameter, that
increases the effect as you go further out from the centre of rotation.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So we're going to start with the Heimer chuck. Now, what can this run at?
Well, potentially, we've actually got this programmed at the minute. So we've actually programmed the machine. So we've said we want this chuck to run at 33,000 revs, but still maintain the G2.5. So very simply, we just weigh the holder, tell the machine what we need to run to what balance grade. How we're going to correct is the important bit. See, on the Heimer chuck here, these holes here, we're able to add weights to that. And this system will actually tell you and inform you where to add this weight in a given position.
Okay, so you're going to show us the this chuck being. We're going to put this in the balance machine first. It's going to tell us what the balance grade is. And G2.5, that is a standard for any solid rotating device.
It is. Rigid rotors, I think it falls under, i.e. machine tool spindles. I'll just set that going. Yeah, machine tool spindles. So anything that rotates must have a balance grade. Your car tyre, for example, I think that's G40. Yeah. But so when you consider a spindle which can run up to 35,000 revs, even at 12,000 revs, it still must be within G2. Oh, the recommendation is G2.5. It's Heimer's recommendation anyway.
Because I think some people would assume that tool balancing only really affects when you're running at high speeds, roughing out, or doing aluminium roughing or mould and die with small ball noses. But actually, you should be thinking about it for every tool holder, every operation, every kind of machine tool.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's looking at removing those variables. So regardless if it spins at 100 revs or 1,000 revs or 10,000 revs, the balance quality still needs to be at G2.5.
You're still going to be getting that kind of vibration. Can you just spell out what the actual effect of that vibration is if you don't use one of these machines?
Well, you'll see. I mean, we've got really strong data, recent data as well, where on average, you'd get between 15 and 25% in data alone, spindle speed alone. But when you consider the maintenance side of the machine tool, surface finish requirements, machine accuracy, tool life, and
It affects the whole machining process.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But focusing on the maintenance of a spindle, can this really damage your spindle bearings in such a way that you may have to replace it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got good data again where the actual balancing wasn't driven by the engineering team, bizarrely. It was actually driven by the maintenance team, where the engineering team, I won't say dismissed it, they understood it, but it was one of them where we've never done it, so why do we need to do it? But when we actually showed the maintenance manager, he just said, okay, this is an absolute must, because it's about the preventative maintenance of the machine tools. And when you consider a machine shop might have 5, 10, £1 million worth of machine tools at an average cost of maybe £25,000-30,000 plus downtime. Yeah, for
there's a lot of cost involved.
Absolutely, huge cost. So we quickly just ran this on the tool dynamic. Now I want to know what the balance grade is. So the balance grade is still G2.6 at 30,000 revs.
Which not many machines can get up to that RPM.
No, absolutely. But what happens is, once you add weight to that assembly, it fundamentally changes. So we're going to quickly change over to another chuck where we've added the data chip.
And this machine, it's really easy to use. I've used one of these before. I must have balanced quite a lot of machines on this, quite a lot of tools on this.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get the muscle memory back just working on this before we started this stream. And when you put this, obviously this RFID data chip, not many people will be using these. It's kind of the big manufacturers. But another analog for this, what kind of cutting tool would have this same kind of effect?
Well, if you think of maybe a 3-flute aluminium tool, more often than not, that's going to have a centre cutting flute. So if you think of maybe a 20 or a 16 mil diameter, it's going to be variable flute, variable helix. So that centre flute adds more weight to that side of the tool. So physics tells you can't get away from it, that it's almost impossible for that tool to be balanced. It will degrade the balance grade. Although the holders are balanced to G2.5, 25,000 revs, it does degrade the balance grade once you put something in it.
As soon as you assemble that tool. Shall we balance that? Shall we have a quick look at this tool with a balance chip in now? And hopefully
this is already programmed into the machine. Yeah, it's so easy. You can use separate files. So we're ready to run that now.
So what methods do Heimer offer to balance the tools? I know you've shown us the grub screws right now, which are added weights you can choose to put into the tools. What else do you offer?
Well, there's really fundamentally four ways of correcting imbalance. Yeah, we can actually change the setting on here where we're able to add these odd-shaped rings. I can't say the other word.
The eccentric rings.
Eccentric rings, yeah, in a certain position. So this laser on here, you just line the laser etch line up, and because of the shape, we're able to shift the weight, which then corrects the imbalance.
And this all sounds quite complicated, but having used this myself, I know that it's almost like balancing by numbers, because it tells you. There we go. We'll take those out before we spin it up. It tells you exactly what angle to put them at. It will actuate the tool hold around. Absolutely, you drop the ring on, tighten up a grub screw. It's as easy as that.
Yeah, it's not a complicated system. It seems complicated, but all the software, all the physics and maths is built into the software of the machine. So it's so simple. So quickly, just by adding 0.7 grams to 63 mil diameter, we've now degraded that to G61.5.
Which is even worse than your car tyres.
Absolutely. A car tyre is balanced to G40. So our advice would be, by all means use it, but be prepared for what happens in the future.
I think it's a great analogy using the car tyres as well, because as you said, a machine tool can be, even a cheap machine tool can be less than 100 grand, but that's still a lot more expensive than just your standard new VW Audi new car.
Yeah, and you wouldn't go into have your tyre changed, and when the guy goes to balance it, you wouldn't say, no, don't do that, would you?
No, absolutely not.
You always say, okay, do it, because I want to look after my investment. So like I said, there's a misconception in the market that it's not needed, but lo and behold, there is.
what I'm hearing then is you need to treat your machine tool like a Ferrari, not like a little dumpy car. Brilliant.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Ian.
No bother. Good luck, guys.
Brilliant. So we're now going to move on to talk to another Ian about 3D sensors. Now, Ian, Heimer are obviously well known for top quality tool holding, presetting, and balancing. But you want to talk about 3D sensors today? They look like DTI clocks to me. What is a 3D setter?
A 3D sensor is primarily for edge setting on your machine tool. Historically, you use wobble bars, you use cigarette paper behind an M mill to find your edge, which all takes time. With the 3D sensor, we have 3-axis movement. You move the dial 2 millimeters in one direction, so the zeros line up, you're on center. The ball is 4 millimeters diameter, so you move it 2 millimeters, you're on center, you zero on the machine, move it on the other axis, and zero off your sensor. That is quick and easy.
So it's a 3D because it works in X, Y, Z, and the Cartesian coordinates.
Yes.
But it's obviously very different to a DTI clock, which DTI clocks are already quite expensive products already. But you have to have, if you want to do a ball, you have to rotate it all the way around. You have to have a mirror. You have to get in the machine. It's quite cumbersome. This is all about operator ergonomics.
It is. It's all about ergonomics and making it as easy as possible for the operator. Most of the sensors, these main sensors, are all stationary. There's no spindle movement. The dial is in front of the operator. All he then does is move the axis of the machine to the required setting. On a bore, we have a centro sensor, which again stays stationary. So your spindle rotates on this particular tool, you fix it centrally, and then you check the concentricity of the bore, but all with the dial in front of you. So like you say, no leaning behind a machine with a mirror or leaning all over the machine. Very quick, very easy, and all the adjustment is being done at the same time.
Brilliant. Obviously, not many people have, quite a lot of people have the small VMCs where you can easily get round in, but if you've got a big gantry machine and the spindle's halfway down the corridor, there's no halfway down the gantry, there's no way you're going to see it. So this, to me, it screams saving setup times.
Yes.
And that is absolutely critical to making the best out of your machine. So even though this might seem like a really simple change to go from what is already quite an expensive DTI clock to one of these, it seems simple, but actually there's massive knock-on effects.
There's massive time saving to be had by changing over to this type of system. Yes, and we're covering all types of machine tool, even on lathes with our new generation sensor at the bottom there. It's a small body, small spindle, 10 millimeters diameter, so it will fit into the smallest of machines, even on your BT30s, HSK, small HSK spindles.
Yeah, so if you want to put it in a little tool holder, you can still use one of these.
One of those. It's the same principle, exactly. And this product was the first product developed by Heimer in 1988. So it's been around for a long time, and we're still producing thousands of them.
Evidenced by this bit, actually, I thought that I've never actually heard of this before, but these are the backbones of your business. So they have been for a long time.
Yes, since 1988. This was the first, even before tool holders. So Mr. Heimer, when he started his business as a subcontractor, 10 years in, he obviously encountered the same problems setting his datums, using the same principles as I said earlier. I've done it. I'm experienced enough to know. I'm old enough to have done it when I was apprentice and on the machines. So yes, he found this as a solution, and he developed it for himself, and like every other product here, then sold it to the marketplace.
I'm sure you've got a few years left, Ian, but it's clear to me that this is aimed at obviously the subcontractors who already probably find it quite hard to make money on small batches, on one-offs, on 5-offs and 10-offs, where you really have to try and save on what are very long setup times, difficult setup times for one-off jobs they won't see again. These guys, obviously, they need all the help they can get in trying to make money on these small jobs, and they're the backbone of the UK economy, is the SMEs. Yes. So they need to make sure they check out one of these instead of maybe getting another DTI clock.
Yes, agreed. It's entirely that. And not only can it be used as an edge finder, it can be used as a measuring tool as well, because obviously we have a probe on there. We're working in 3 axes. As long as you zero off, move to your next position, you can measure a depth, you can measure a diameter, you can centralize a diameter. It's very, very
Easy, yeah,
user-friendly.
easy to use and versatile. It's almost like a Machine Pro, but it has all the bells and whistles of Machine Pro with what you can do. But some people who maybe don't necessarily know how, you've got to go to Machine Pro, you've got to use some setting program. You might have to get the book out, it might take 5 minutes. By that point, you know what you're doing with this, you know exactly how to use it, because it's just like a wobble bar, but it's a hell of a lot easier to use. Well, that's it. So thank you very much, Ian. Now you're going to be going over to, I think it's Mark talking about tool presetting.
Well, Rowan, Ian, thank you very much. Very educational. I learned something, and I hope you all did at home. Speaking of learning, speaking about education, I'm here with Olaf from Heimer, and we're going to be talking about presetting on this occasion. So welcome, Olaf, and just let's start at the very basics. What is a presetter?
Thank you very much. This is an offline presetter. It helps us to reduce the setup time and to save a lot of money and improve your production quality, save you money and make money. That's really the advantage of an offline tool presetter, and I see that many people here in the UK are not realizing this savings potential yet.
Yeah, no, but what is the main reason for it?
If you picture, we can reduce the setup time in pre-measuring the tools and the time the tool machine is still making chips, and that very effectively, very easy. We measure run out, length, angle, we can inspect the tools, so that's a benefit. And if you see that a setup of a tool on a machine shows about 3 to 5 minutes what it takes to do so. So if you have 10 tools, you save 30 minutes of setup time, and that's where the money is really saved.
That's a very important point. Some people think it just does height and diameter, but it does a lot more than that.
That's right, it does a lot more. Diameter, angle, we can check the runout. We can even inspect the tool very easily. I will show it in a minute. And that's really a benefit, because you cannot just reduce the setup time, but in addition you can also reduce the tooling cost, because you can reuse tools, you can inspect them and don't have to throw them away because you're unsure what the conditions are.
Yeah, come on, let's take a quick demonstration if you don't mind.
Yeah, this is an automatic machine here. And it works basically full automatic. The machine already is pre-programmed, and as you see, it drives to the cutting tool itself. It will measure the 360-degree measurement. It measures basically what it will cut in the machine, so it creates a profile. And in this case, what we do is a chamfer tool. We actually measure a specific diameter. So that's very difficult if you don't preset it. To hit it, that means you need more time to set up the parts. Maybe scrap parts, that's another savings point. You reduce the scrap rate and you improve the quality, and that's really that easy to do. We got the measure result. I just say next, and it will already print me a label, but we also can send the data directly to the machine center. So also from the perspective to the i4.0, we can receive data from CAD/CAM, from tool management, process the data here very simple and easy, and then send it directly to the machine so that it's very easy for the operator.
Yeah, you can see that, and that's a very important thing to mention. We've got a label printer, but I believe you can use QR codes, ballast chips, and things like this.
Correct. We can send the data directly to the machine, or we can print out a QR code and then scan it at the machine, or like you said, with the RFID technology, Bailiff or other brands are available as well. All that is possible to reduce even more the setup time, and also save time in the process, and also for safety reasons.
And many companies are looking to digitize their shop floor, and this plays a fundamental part, because if there's any human intervention in that process, there's a potential for error, isn't there?
That's correct. Every time we have to interact as humans, we make mistakes, and that's what happens. And then you crash the machine for a lot of money, have to replace a spindle, or maybe cannot deliver in time. So this will help you to reduce the process risk and also improve the process time. So lots of savings potential.
And the last question, in terms of the investment really, or should I say the return on the investment, is there a way you can calculate how long it will take you to get your investment back?
That's right. So our customer base shows that in average you save £10,000 per machine and shift. So if you have 10 machines, you save £100,000 a year, and for a machine which is a fraction of this cost. So the normal return of investment is between 3 to 9 months from our customer base. But in the end, you save in average 3 minutes per tool at £60 an hour. Just count how many tool changes you have a day, then you know how much you will save.
So that's incredible. I thought it might take a lot longer than that, to be honest. But so the biggest saving is time, essentially.
That's right. The time savings, the process time savings is the biggest part. But in addition comes scrap reduction, higher quality, cutting tool cost reduction. So there is even more, but that's much harder to calculate. But it's something, if you have a high scrap rate, well, you should think about presetting. It will help you.
Thing I like about Heimer, you've got, certainly here in the UK, we call it like an entry level, a lower cost option, and you've got right up to the all singing, all dancing, full simultaneous, automatic machine with QR codes, ballast chips, i4.
That's right. We can cover from a one-man shop all the way to an automotive plant, all the needed machines we have in our portfolio, and can install it. And we have great service here in the UK, a great sales team what can really give you good recommendation on what you need. So also come to the show here and see us live, and we can do a little bit more on the demonstration on the machine.
Yeah, if you are coming to MACH, today's Wednesday, make sure you do come and visit the team here at Heimer. Great machines, great people. Thank you very much for your time. Over to Lindsay and Phil, who are going to finish the stream. Thanks for watching.
Now, I don't know if you've seen this bear before, but I can honestly say this bear is the bane of my life. I've got two of these, and I have been on many a long journey with my niece and daughter, playing these over and over again. Phil, what a great little promo.
If you want one, just come down to our stand. We have many to give away.
It's the Heimer yodeling bear. I know this. Even when it stops, right? Even when it stops, this bear, I think I can still hear it all the time. Brilliant. Can I just say, this stand, I am not kidding you. We have been doing some technical reviews, and every time there's customers coming onto the stand, there's more customers there. This is a very, very busy stand. It is Wednesday. There is still time for you to come and visit MACH 2022. A big shout out to Sam Suffolk as well. I think you're from A1 Engineering. You said that you were looking forward to seeing the stream, so I really hope you've enjoyed it. Phil, just any kind of final words that you'd like to say for anyone who is visiting MACH or unfortunately can't make MACH this week?
Well, look at the live stream, and if you want to see any of our products, we can come to you. We also have a showroom in Burnley, and people are more than welcome to come visit us. And we always have a stock of yodel bears.
Yes, I don't want any more. I've got. I'm only joking. Yeah, bring them on. Thank you so much for watching. It is Wednesday. You've still got a couple of days left of MACH. So much technology. I can't even stress there's more customers as well. What a stand from Heimer. I'll be back with you in about an hour's time for another live stream. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.